Greetings, dear friends. Happy Aquarius Festival. We continue holding the tension of group focused receptivity, open to the energy of Aquarius, in alignment with the hierarchy. Today, we meet on the first day of distribution to meditate and reflect together on the topic of our Aquarius cycle, preparing the way for the coming one, radiating the light of the one life. In this cycle, we continue holding the focus on the theme of manifesting the principle of sharing in all fields of human endeavors. This is the theme we hold during the times when Sun moves through the signs of the fixed cross of which Aquarius is the part. Today we will meditate using the inflow of the Aquarian energy in alignment with the hierarchy to recognize the unfolding, the aspects of the unfolding divine plan, and asking the guidance of our senior brothers and sisters on the inner side as we bring forward the recognitions of the seeds of the new civilization. As always, we begin with sounding the statement of purpose of our work. Over to you, Birgit.
Our purpose is to magnetize the ideas of common good, freedom, and brotherhood as the highest values of humanity at this time. We recognize and cherish diversity of perspectives in our group, creating a space capable of invoking, receiving, interpreting, and radiating a higher synthetic vision. We serve as an Asramic outpost, building a group bridge of Buddhic energy. We evoke the soul of humanity. We envision humanity as being the seed that is flowering. We prepare the way for the reappearance of the coming one. And over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Birgit. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As we usually do, we start out by reading the seed thoughts that came through to us in our first quarter moon meeting and meditation and discussion. And we have 9 seed thoughts that came through. And from those seed thoughts, that's how our topic has been created for this cycle in Aquarius. That's how that topic was chosen. So I'm going to go ahead and read the 9 seed thoughts that came through. Number 1, being an active, holy witness. Number 2, when we interact with others, look for what similarities we have rather than the differences. Number 3, articulate and share values that support the common good. Number 4, neither higher energies and consciousness be shared through those who are willing and able. Number 5, try to always interact with others from our highest self. Number 6, may we fulfill our part in the one work through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech. Number 7, radiating soul light in all directions, meeting the need on all levels. Number 8, redeeming the Spirit of Christ through the shed suffering in matter. Number 9, and our final seed thought. Silent action shared and resourced from higher levels of consciousness. And now, as we usually do, from this point, we go into our meditation today, which Birgit will lead us in. So over to you, Birgit.
Thank you, Tracy. We align with our group heart and the heart of the chalice. We align with the hierarchy and all those unseen beings who aid our invocative and evocative efforts on behalf of humanity. Lead our minds into receptivity of the hierarchical energies and ideas that are available to us during this full moon in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius, the world server, the transmitter of energy, which evokes magnetic response. The light of Aquarius shines on earth across the sea. It is the light which ever shines within the dark, and cleansing with its healing rays that which must be purified until the dark has gone. The rulers of Aquarius, Uranus, Jupiter, and Moon, bring in influences of the seventh, second, and fourth rays. The seventh ray brings into expression upon the physical plane the major pairs of opposites, spirit and matter, and relates them to each other, producing one functioning whole. The second ray gives soul expression and spiritual consciousness, and also the power to pour out love and wisdom upon earth. And the fourth ray indicates the field of service and the mode of attaining the goal. This method is that of conflict and struggle in order to reach harmony and thus express the soul of humanity. In this atmosphere, let us connect with our topic for this month, preparing the way for the coming one, radiating the light of the one life. Preparing the way for the coming one, radiating the light of the one life. As we deepen our contemplation on this topic, let us ponder on the following questions. What is the next step needed to prepare the way for the coming one? And what value do we bring to this next step? What is the next step needed to prepare the way for the coming one? And what value do we bring to this next step? Patanjali refers to the advanced stages of mankind as being seers. He states that the seer is pure vision, holding intellected ideas, clear vision, and true perception. The seer understands the causes of manifestation. Thus he or she passes the realm of objectivity out of the mental, emotional, and physical worlds and enters the realm of the soul, which is the cause of this triple manifestation. He goes on to say, later, at a very advanced stage, the seer touches the one life, which synthesizes the many lives, blending the many ideas into one homogeneous plan. How can we assure this synthesis of the one homogeneous plan as we prepare to radiate the light of the one life? How can we assure this synthesis of the one homogeneous plan as we prepare to radiate the light of the one life? How can we cooperate with the Devic kingdom as we prepare the way and radiate the light of the one life? How can we cooperate with the Devic kingdom as we prepare the way and radiate the light of the one life? Let us now return from our pondering, drawing together our impressions, allowing them to take form, and we rest in silence for a few more moments. We see our impressions flowing together into the group heart, filling the chalice and vitalizing its radiant light, enhancing the beauty and wisdom of its tone. Together, we direct this light upward to the hierarchy and await their blessings upon it. Now, realizing our invocation today, we witness its radiance pouring downward from our chalice into the lower planes, stimulating all receptive hearts and minds. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Om. Om. Om.
Let us hold just a few more moments in silence to write down our impressions before we open our time for sharing. Also, the Community Impressions Board will be available that we can share our impressions on. It's on the homepage of the 2025initiate.org. So you can always access that Community Impressions Board over the next couple weeks as you reflect and meditate and ponder on our topic and the questions that were posited today. Also, I think Alexander will put the link to this Community Impressions Board in the chat box here. And we will communicate in this way as we prepare for the evocation at the time of the new moon. Thank you.
Thank you, Birgit, and thank you, Tracy. Now we can see the questions that we hold in our group chalice. So let us reflect on these questions, and we have now time to share some recognitions and impressions. And we'll also have opportunity to continue this reflection at the time of the quarter moon meeting, and then at the new moon meeting, as we will prepare to synthesize the most resonant ideas and recognitions into the seeds that we will magnetize and radiate with the help of our meditation into the mental field of humanity. And that is our service. So when you're ready now, please unmute yourself and bring your offering into the group chalice.
I can start us off with some simple statements. As far as number one is concerned, the next step needed to prepare the way for the coming one, I think that next step in my mind, in consciousness, is to be in touch with my inner sources and inner self, soul, as high as I can reach, actually. Hopefully a little higher than that. But anyway, to be in touch with that source, that center within me that is aligned with those other aspects of myself, and to take that energy and bring it more into the world. As long as I can stay centered in that, I think it's all right to express and what's needed now is to express that spirituality at every opportunity that I see, with hopefully without being too overbearing in any way, but any openings to express that consciousness. Number two, I think as long as we're aligned with our higher selves, we can be touching the intuitive plane, and that intuitive plane, I believe, is synthetic. And as we are infused with those ideas, probably a major infusion one at a time, for me at least, we are synthetic as long as we're in touch with the intuitive plane. That synthesis is coming through. And number three, I think with cooperating with the devas, again, I believe at least from my experience in my limited way, what I see is working is, as the devas don't use words, I see visualizing, being open to their messages, being open to their consciousness through visualization. And again, I think intuition is the way that we gain access to that life form, that consciousness, and then trying to integrate what we have to offer, being a different sort of being on a different evolutionary path. We can add in our mental type of mentality and our ability to speak and express ideas through verbal vibrations. We can use, working together with them, we're able to do a lot of work. I think good work. Okay, thank you. Glad to be back with everyone.
Greetings, Maria Cristina here. I could share briefly. Preparing the way for the coming one. Always demanding through the use of the great invocation, which, as today there is a massive group grassroots awakening, and I have participated with this beautiful banner I would share from Pensia, choose love. Very colorfully, choose love. And I have to say, I did include at the bottom another little placard, not ice. And there was such a positive response. I was able to share the great invocation with many there. Or I think that's a field that if there is any participation or engagement with the happenings of the time, have the great invocation at the time and demand that we demand that spiritual presence of the Christ. As far as synthesis, a very advanced stage for the soul. It is the soul who takes initiation. It is the soul that, for myself, is present. I was once asked, I think to you, was saying, how do I have these waves of, as I approach identity with the soul, I find waves of I love, indicating unity. The realm of Buddhi is the realm of unity and synthesis. Many of us, as Michael Robbins once pointed out to me in a beautiful statement that I met, he said that was a beautiful statement of Buddhi, of the soul of unity. But synthesis, my latest thought, which was a little overwhelming, was not I love, but identification with I am love. That's cutting edge for me. I haven't taken it. That thought recently came. And finally, the David kingdom. Oh, the army is of the Lord. Quite extensive. It's is it the devas that attend, those who meet? We're told it's 9 or less are the gold and the white. And greater it goes on, the rose and the blue and the rose, and so on. Or perhaps more the greater encompassing, such as the Lord Agni, which is more inclusive in the realm of the angelic. The thought that comes to me as I consider is the Christ as an angelic being, teacher of angels and men. The devas do not see him as exactly the same light we broach the Christ. We broach through the human kingdom. The angelic kingdom broaches as angelic being, which has brought not just a sense of joy, or of awe, but I don't know, a newness. May the coming one, teacher of angels and men, return to earth. Thank you.
Hello. I think on question 1, we're in a good position to prepare the way because we are, through our work, involved in the material and spiritual life. We can link them up by discernment. When we know something and believe something to be true about Christ's reappearance, we can try to put it to people in a way they're likely to accept it. And if humanity can expect it, it will make life easier for everyone. And we should continue raising our consciousness and serving humanity and hierarchy. And I'm not sure about the Deva kingdom, because I always see them as the beings of nature, and so I think by honouring nature and working in harmony with it will be a good move. Thank you.
On question 1, maybe one way to boost our efforts with the next step is to more broadly, more broadly recognize or utilize the power of the huge amount of like-minded groups. The chalice is just huge, and if that's done more universally, and even in our own meditations, to understand that actually it is one chalice. And for number 2, the common good is synthesis. So the question for me when we pondered this was, what does the common good look like in my family, in my community, in my province, in my country, in the world? And try to direct my actions in that forward path towards what that looks like, to maintain some consciousness, which would be synthesis if done with some intelligence. For number 3, recognizing that everything is energy, and therefore everything is Devic or elemental, then we are interacting with the Devi kingdom all the time, and being more conscious, as I know some people are when washing their hands or interacting with water or taking a drink or eating an apple, understanding and appreciating the effort of our Devic helpers. And that will ultimately bring humanity's approach, or the more we do of that, the more the souls of that large group will magnetically evoke this recognition. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It is, I believe, is really essential. This shared consciousness with the Devic Kingdom, and connecting with it in a conscious manner, and recognizing that life, which is one life, and streaming those energies that we can reach and can share. This is really important, I believe. And as for the first question, prepare the way. I don't know. The next step, I believe, it is for us to actually be needing his energies and his presence. Not in the sense of beautiful thoughts, which are, of course, nurturing, but in our in this part of our life, which comes down to the physical plane, that connects those subtle planes and brings those energies into service, including into the service of the Devi Kingdom, as we connect with it. And the seer, I think, it is really a brilliant passage, and I think that for us as disciples, this shift from Scorpio, or bridge from Scorpio to Sagittarius, and acquiring the vision, essentially using the intuition as a driving, moving force, is again essential. But synthesis is that energy that, to precipitate this energy of synthesis, one needs to be really, an advanced, very advanced stage of the seer. Kind of flowing vision, flowing Sagittarius, this flow of seeing and reaching and seeing another. Thank you. Over.
When I look at the first question, which says, what is the next step needed to prepare the way for the coming one? I didn't think that it meant what do I need to do to prepare. But in the life of humanity, when do we show that there's a readiness? And what I thought about was the idea of acknowledging that we share together in the one life. And I think we're starting to see that as we recognize our interdependence with each other. I think when Christ came 2,000 years ago, it was the idea of seeing the individual as being connected to the divine, and his message was to love one another. When I think of it now, it's almost a necessity to move that from an idea to something that is needed, that since we participate together in the one life, it goes beyond just the ideal of loving one's neighbor, but the idea that we have a commonality of shared purpose because we are in this together. So it's that next evolutionary understanding of our importance of our connection. And so I think if humanity is at that stage of understanding that we are interrelated and my good is dependent on your good, then I think that that stage for Christ's coming is starting to be prepared. So we see the idea of the one life in its larger context, but I think for humanity as a whole, that understanding on any level is needed for that readiness. When I looked at basically it was the second and third question together. Most recently, I have been thinking about leadership in the United Nations and looking at each delegate as a leader for their country and wondering how to bring the energy of synthesis down to leaders so that they could work as a one. And when I thought about it and I thought about the progression, I really understood that after it moved through the Christ, and it certainly could move through the one planetary server, that it from there would move to the idea of the Deva of the United Nations or the larger Deva. From there, it would move to the Devas of individual nations and peoples, what the delegates representing their nation. Then it would move to their own soul. So it was a stream of moving synthesis energy basically through those souls, through group souls, through the soul of humanity, the soul of nations, the souls of individuals. So there was a connection, a direct connection with the David kingdom, because that was part of the emphasis or channel through which that energy could move. The idea of what held us together was soul on its vastest level. And certainly, as was said, Christ is that soul, the soul of hierarchy of our planet, and it moved through. So there's that direct interconnection. And I saw synthesis really as moving through those connections of oneness until it could get down to the individual soul and then recognize itself as part of a collective and could receive synthetic energy. So that's a long way of kind of blending those two. Thank you.
Um, when I reflect on the first questions, this strong sense of a shift that's been happening, coming to me, and and it's the shift that it's the word comes to me is that we're not preparing the way anymore. We're making the way for the Christ. The decision's been made and certain stimulation being applied towards the world group. It is especially felt at this full moon the sense of the focus on the world group, one planetary group, standing as a Hercules, invoking the river of life from Shambhala and the river of love from the hierarchy. Because it is the disciples of the world group, is capable to withstand the high frequency of the inflow of those rivers, of those energies. And we are exposed to this energy now, and it is up to us to redirect those rivers into humanity. And in a way, it is happening. We're doing it. And I feel the same as Bridget said, is that it is up to the all the groups, esoteric groups that are capable to work with energy through meditation. It is not just this separate individual groups in different traditions. It is this collective unity that we now are charged with this task. And together we making the way for the Christ by accepting, receiving those rivers and redirecting. So these two rivers, this huge impulse that's been coming this last year, it is clears the way for the Christ. And when I think about preparing the way, it's more like putting the seeds into the ground. No, it's time for harvest is coming now. It's not putting seeds in the ground anymore. Thank you. And Tracy, can you please check the chat?
I was going to follow up with what Alex said. However, I need to stand aside from the very last thing he said. But to pick up with seeing the being that is coming to life, that is flowing up from humanity, and that the bridge is now very much a collective bridge that we are feeding into. It is of great value to identify that when we see all the beautiful and potent work that is taking place now, we become the one planetary server. And so seeing may be, for me, the key to what is being called from us now. There is something that DK said long ago that still applies to me, is to recognize the need in the moment. So for now, the need in the moment is to stand tall, to bring together the apparent opposites, daring with gentleness, mercy with what we might call common sense. So I'm putting together this understanding that seeing involves a different level of discrimination than I have attended to before. seeing is really about understanding, and understanding needs to be caught. And once it's caught, the expression that's being called for in the moment comes. So our very humanity that is growing in understanding that there's no way through but together, that sort of thing. And but some of the seed thoughts that I do happen to believe need to be continued have to do with noticing the good use of technology. Certainly 2025 initiative that's still very young is a practical means of understanding that we are well served to make use of that which we understand through belonging, not only in terms of being supportive, but as identifying our own contributions in a true humility. So I love the question, what value do you bring? Especially when one sees the you as the group. And identifying, I think I want to say through feeling, identifying through feeling that which contributes to progress. My relationship with the Deva began was very young, and the gift, and in some respects, a lot of my life was very devoid of the dynamic of Gaia, Mother Gaia. I lived in big cities most of my life. But the Deva presence is there as well. And I happen to, just as with the same simplicity that we can wash our hands thinking of how all the detailed ways we are connected to Deva, she is asking to be drawn into the process that we create. There's a quality of joy. And in the present, unfolding presence of the Deva, as our group work not only expands, but qualifies into something more effective, she becomes ever more necessary because she brings quality. In the planetary system, it translates into recognizing muses as virtues, but virtues as beautiful. I was taught to see virtues as goodness, which is helpful. But when we see virtues, the quality of our combined intelligence, our decentralized love, our determined will that is very silent in many ways, because alchemizes into something that is more powerful than we can see. So I'm finding growing that the value of our group service has a great deal to do with our interrelationship with Deva energy. We bring consciousness, she brings manifestation. So the value of our group work may be closer relationship with the Deva energy that brings into manifestation that quality which ever elevates consciousness. When we feel these things as real, we become practical in the moment. This is something all of us know. And so to hold in the light as we do in these meetings, to hold in the light this ever expanding collective that becomes ever deeper and more powerful as we see it in this consciousness given to the species we call humanity. We start to notice ourselves becoming more effective, and we automatically turn it into this great expanding chalice. We know it means very little if we keep it to ourselves. It is to be given away. And so discrimination, value is a wonderful, wonderful term to identify with this quality of our very solar system, which is love, but love, decentralized love, selfless love. Thank you.
Joe Waltz has written in the chat box to us, "Dear friends in service, today's review of the keynotes, the orientation and contemplative meditation, have deeply filled my being on this first distribution day for the energies we received during our Aquarius Leo full moon unifying activities. I am going to take time to ponder and listen to your impression and take time to reflect, incorporating all into my responses. This I will share. Right now, for me, I am guided to return to silence. Loving kindness and wisdom pours forth from this group gathering. Thank you all. Deepest gratitude and aloha for now, and see you again for the daily vigil. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, friends. Let us continue holding the focus on the topic and the questions that Brigitte offered us. And we will have opportunity to meet again for the quarter moon meeting next Tuesday on February 10th. Meanwhile, let us hold the focus our group chalice and reflect. Now we're closing our meeting today, and I invite anyone feel drawn to step forward to sound the mantra to close our work this time.
I guess I'll share from Lao Tzu, since we're talking about synthesizing the one vision and bringing the light from the oneness into all humanity. He says, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Let us all come from our higher selves, always, on all planes, and share this with the world. Om.